Hello everybody, welcome back to Tpull's Corner. This is Travis, and we are doing another theme week where we take one of our favorite cards and we make different decks that either have the card in it or are actually focused entirely around the card. And our case subject this week is the Brash Taunter, a little indestructible goblin that's only 1/1, but he costs 5 to get down. Not just because he's indestructible, but he has somewhat unique capabilities. Whenever he's dealt damage, it deals the damage to the target opponent. So, there are cards that can destroy, that can sort of neutralize indestructible, like Shadow Spear, for example. And the thing is, it doesn't stop the damage. So, let's say, what's the red mana spell that destroys indestructible? Let's go look it up real quick. It would help if I could spell. Let's see. Mana value is 3. Where are you? There we go. Soul Seer. So if they play Soul Seer on the Brash Taunter, the Brash Taunter will lose his indestructible. But even though the Brash Taunter will die, he'll still take that 5 points of damage and deal it to the opponent. So people still have to be careful in how they approach the Brash Taunter. Okay, the other thing that he can do is you can spend 3 mana and tap him and have him fight another creature. It can be your creature, or it can be the opponent's creature. So if the opponent puts down an 11/10 creature and realizes that it's a bad idea to attack Brash Taunter, or try and attack you because you can block with Brash Taunter, you can still tap your creature and have him fight that 11/10 creature, and the Brash Taunter will survive because he's indestructible, and your opponent will take 11 points of damage. So, the trick of this deck, if we get a chance, is we'll get another creature, we'll put classification on the other creature, and then we'll have Brash Taunter fight him. Okay? Now, the cool thing to think about is when the creature comes in, as an aspect of classification, one of the drawbacks is you have to tap the intended creature. So keep in mind, you can play this on your opponent's creature, and if you have 10 total mana, you got 3 spare to fight with Brash Taunter. You could tap an opponent's creature, get him out of the way, and fight him all in the same turn. Or you could put this on another one of your creatures and have Brash Taunter fight your creature. As long as the enemy doesn't have trample. If an enemy has trample, it'll take 1 point and allocate it to the Taunter, and every extra point of damage it'll throw over onto you. So trample trumps indestructible. So always keep that in mind. Alright, so with that in mind, overview of the deck: 12 creatures, 24 lands. Most of the rest of the cards are dealt around the idea of getting classification on the Taunter and letting him attack, or on another creature and letting the other creature attack. Or cards like Primal Might, where you have your creature fight another creature. Okay, because we always want to, if they don't want to attack the Brash Taunter, we want to still have ways that let the Brash Taunter fight. And you know, maybe we have him fight once with his own power, and then we have him fight again with another power. Or another spell. Okay, the rest of the deck, the 1-drops. Blazing Volley, in case they get down a bunch of swarms early and we have this card, that'll keep them under control. Claim the Firstborn. This is fun because if you have a smaller creature, like say we have a Tpull Blightblade out, and you put classification on him, he becomes a 21/21 creature. Well, he's tapped, right? If you have 8 mana, if you use 7 to bring classification down, and then you use Claim the Firstborn on your own creature, you can take control. Even though you already have control, you can still use this on mana value 3 or less. It doesn't have to be the enemy's creature. We can take control of Tpull Blightblade, untap him, let him gain haste, and attack. Or, alternatively, like I said, if you put this on the enemy's creature, say he cleared the board and there's only 1 creature on him, you can put classification on him. And if he's 3 or less, you could claim him, take control of him, untap him, get haste, and go kill the enemy with his own creature. So there's a couple of different threats that you can do with the same cards, depending on which creature you want to take control of, yours or your opponent's. Infuriate pumps up one of the creatures. It could be good just to give him +2 to help him survive a lightning strike. Or maybe you have a creature that you want to get rid of, you can't afford to hang around, but a 1/1 attack isn't going to do it. You can make the Brash Taunter into a 4/3, and that 4 damage is enough to kill the enemy. We do have to worry about flyers, so we've got a little chump blocker at first. You sort of want him to die so you can use exile 4 other cards from your graveyard and have him escape. And then he comes back with 3 +1 counters on him. And when he enters into the battlefield, it deals that amount of damage to a target creature with flying. So, otherwise we have 1 copy of Snakeskin Veil to try and protect a creature. Stony Strength, again with that untapped feature for the most part. Jar Blight Blade for the Death Touch chump blocker. Primal Might to fight another creature, preferably using that with Brash Taunter. Blitz of the Thunder Raptor, because we have so many instant and sorcery cards, we should be able to build this up pretty high. So if they get a big opponent, we should get this just in time to take them out. 1 copy of Blood Aspirant. This one we can, whenever we sacrifice, we can put a +1/+1 counter on the Blood Aspirant, and we can actually sacrifice a creature or an enchantment at any time. So if they are about to kill one of our guys, we could sacrifice them and pump up the Aspirant. We could maybe use Claim the Firstborn to take one of his creatures and sacrifice it, pump up the Aspirant. The cool thing is Blood Aspirant deals 1 damage to target creature. That creature cannot block this turn. So if we have, let's say, Brash Taunter with classification on him, and we have a creature that can block him somehow, like its own indestructible creature, we could maybe sacrifice somebody else, deal damage to the creature, and that creature couldn't block. Now, it doesn't matter if they're indestructible, right? If they have their own Brash Taunter, for example, we still dealt the damage to him. He can't block. So it clears the way for whatever creature you put the classification on to get through. We have Fling, just 1 copy. So in case we can't get through, if they got too many flyers, if they got indestructible, if they paralyzed our guy with classification on him, we'll just sacrifice him and fling him straight to the opponent's face. Go for Blood, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Again, that's good for Brash Taunter, or if you have, say the Brash Taunter's too weak, he's the 1/1, but you got the classification on another creature, you can have your 21/21 creature fight instead. If you got too many instants and sorceries and not enough creatures early on, this one has cycling, so you can just ditch it if you want. Don't be too beholden to hold on to this. You don't have to. You can just cycle it if it's not useful at the time. 2 Scorching Dragonfires to exile creatures. This is good. If you have to use 2 on 1 Kroxa, that at least gets him out of the graveyard so he doesn't escape. Elysian Caryatid for a little bit of mana in case you get a bunch of greens and you don't have enough red. Inscription of Abundance, 1 copy. This is one of my favorite cards, actually. I like to save it until I can kick it. You can put 2 +1 counters on a creature, then gain life, which is the greatest power among the creatures you control. And then you have the target creature fight a target creature you don't control. So I like to use this on the Brash Taunter a lot. 1 copy of Masked Vandal. This you can exile a creature from your graveyard when he enters the battlefield. If you do, you get to exile a target artifact or an enchantment the opponent controls. So I like to hold him in reserve until there's a big artifact or enchantment that's going to give me trouble if I don't remove it. I usually have at least 1 creature in the graveyard by then. 1 Plummet for flyers, because we got to have flying defense somewhere in here, right? And it's not going to be just the Chainweb Arachneer. We got to have more than that. We have Arnie Slays the Troll. Again, creature fighting creature, then you get to add counters, and the 3rd you gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So it's sort of like a staged Inscription of Abundance. Just turn into an enchantment saga and you do it 3 different steps. Destructive Tampering, you can destroy a target artifact, or creatures without flying can't block this turn. Again, a little nice thing, if we can get our classification out and alive, keep that creature alive, we can clear a path. If not one way or another, right? We'll either make sure they can't block, or we'll fling it if we can't go around, or we'll fight creatures and destroy them before we go in and attack. Fateful End, a little removal, and we get to scry. Redcap Raiders, when they attack, you may tap an untapped human creature you control. If you do, Redcap Raiders gets +1/+1 against trample until end of turn. This one is kind of like if we put classification on Redcap Raiders and we tap a non-human, like say we have Brash Taunter out, but we don't have enough mana for some reason, something's going on, whatever, if we get the classification on these guys, they'll be over 20 and they'll have trample. So does it matter if they die if we do 20 points of damage to the opponent still with their trample capability? 1 copy of Shackles of Treachery, where we gain control of a target creature. And again, we get to untap and give them haste. One magic missile. In case we come up against blue, this spell can't be countered. We can take care of the pesky 2/1 flyers or a 3/3 flyer, that kind of thing. Broken Wings destroys the target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying, and that should be, I think that should be enough to deal with flyers because we have all these other fight cards. We can also fight them if we can't reach them. One Cultivate for ramp. One Garruk's Uprising that gives all creatures trample, so that's a nice little ace in the hole that they might not be expecting. Plus, if we control a creature with 4 or greater, when it enters the battlefield, we get to draw a card. And whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under our control, we draw a card. That's only going to happen a couple of times. We only have a couple other creatures that have power 4 or more. This is more just to give everybody trample because we might get classification out later. We have Out Muscle. If we spend 3 green, then our creature gains indestructible until end of turn if they didn't already have it. Plus you put +1/+1 counter on them and have them fight. This is good. You know, you can use it for Brash Taunter if you want and pump him up so he's always 2/2. Or you could use it on a character like Blightblade who has Death Touch, and when they fight, that Death Touch counts. Okay, 4 copies of the Brash Taunter. We went over that. Elder Gargaroth. This one has reach, so yet another thing to deal with flying. He's got vigilance and trample too. Already got the trample built in, that's nice. And all these different choices if he attacks our blocks, either gain 3 life, draw a card, or create a little beast creature token you see there to the left. And Iron Scale Hydra costs 5. If a creature would deal combat damage to Iron Scale Hydra, you prevent that damage and put a +1 counter on it. So this would actually be a good counter to Brash Taunter. And so I don't like to have my cards used against me. So if somebody takes control of one of my Brash Taunters, then I put down Iron Scale Hydra and prevent all damage. That doesn't stop somebody from tapping Brash Taunter and fighting him for 5 points, right? Because that's not considered regular head-to-head combat damage. Anyway, that's the deck. We're going to take it out for a spin. We're going to see how people deal with the Brash Taunter. If you like the video at the end, don't forget to like it. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing, and go ahead and share one of these videos with somebody else that you know likes to watch Magic the Gathering. Here we go. Only 2 lands. It took me a while before I get you out. That's better. Let's go get some greens. Interesting choice. Let's do all of these things. Put 2 counters on you. We're going to target you for the life gain, and we'll use you to fight you. That is so lovely. And he scoops. Okay. Didn't get to the Brash Taunter yet, but that's good for a start. We will keep this. Jump blocker to start. Can't complain. I guess we'll attack. Black-white decks don't usually have a ton of haste in them. Uh-oh. Foretelling already, and I missed a land drop. Great. Yay! We're happy with our land, we'll keep our land. In my imagination, or do they keep looking at their foretell card? You want to use a poison the cup on a 1/1 creature. Okay. It's not the most inefficient. Okay, we got 2 greens. Let's go ahead and do 1 more green. The red cap raiders now. Elliot's in the house. Probably looking to pump him up. You could attack this turn, give him lifelink, and make him a 2/5, and he would survive. But he's not going to do that. And we thank you, because now Iron Scale Hydra comes out instead. Come on, send somebody in. No? Aw. Alright. We are ready for you. We weren't ready for that. He didn't spend money to give the other guy lifelink, did he? Could have given him another counter. Oh, he did need to, because that gave them both. Okay. Alright, if I give this guy down here, then I've got a way to untap it to try something like that again. swing in that guy. Don't need to worry about giving him trample right now. Decline. Let's just keep his life under control a tiny bit. Got to be careful about fighting with Brash Taunter because you can just give somebody lifelink if he's got the mana at the drop of a hat. Okay. Say for the most part these are useless moves. Okay, you are gonna die. You will take as much damage as you get. Okay, we can resolve that. From an extra, you will fight you. You pay the adamant. You can give him lifelink if you want. It will not save him. And then we get to attack with everybody. Thank you, sir. Now, I do have a creature in my graveyard, yes? I don't need to worry about it, I can just attack. I was going to exile Heliod with the Mass Vandal. 2 Brash Taunters, another win in the bag. Moving on. And away we go. What I'd like to do is eventually get the classification out so that we can demonstrate the concept combo. So I've got 4 Brash Taunters in the deck, though I can't really justify having 4 classifications at the same time. That would be classification showing up in my opening hand way too many times. Let's get some greens. It's healthy to get your greens. Many colors this deck. That's a worrisome card, isn't it? Didn't have 2 black sources of mana yet. Okay, we're gonna keep 2 lands in case he gets him down, because he's got ward and I'm gonna need to discard some cards. Go ahead and get rid of the puppy now. He doesn't have trample, he's just got double strike. So we'll see if he knows how that works. Nice. I don't have a creature in my graveyard yet, do I? More land. Great. I guess. There's his swamps. Nice. Okay, we can't do much about any of that just yet. Gonna try and put the shield on him, so we'll say no. Yes, we want to target him. We'll discard a card. Let's see, I like that. Next, we fight him. Yes, we want to target that. We'll discard another card. Bingo. Now he thinks we're tapped and just about all out of mana. We will untap our creature. We'll choose to block there. 4 points. 4 points. Excellent. Except I still don't have a card in the graveyard, a creature in the graveyard, to handle that puppy. So if he attacks with just one creature, I've got him blocked. If he wants to attack with both, I get to choose who I block. He could be in trouble if he brings back Westgate Regent, though. He's going to protect Dritz instead. Still can't attack her. Seriously, deck? Okay, I guess I'm just keeping that. Okay, this could still work. If he attacks, he's going to become a 10-10. Okay, so no attacks for me. Can't really stop that, can I? Oh, geez. It's like he's guaranteed to defeat me. He's got the Spirit Shield, prevent targeting, and he's got Trample. I'm starting to suspect a conspiracy here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna fight. And then we're gonna bring this guy down. I don't have a way to sacrifice him, do I? And I can't target him to attack. What's left for me to do? Fight again? Not enough. Yeah, I think this is one of those conspiracies where I won the first couple of rounds and then there was just no way Magic was going to let me win. So it decided, okay, in order to defeat this deck, we need to have a creature that's flying, that can get around Brash Taunter, that by itself can double its counters, and then also a deck that has exactly the card it needs to prevent targeting so that Brash Taunter can't fight. So we find a way around that the first time. Oh, that's okay, because we'll also give you a deck that brings that card back just in case it dies. And just in case that gives you a problem, we'll also put trample creatures in that go over your indestructible creature. So this combo right here just happens to be one of the only things that can defeat the deck. And it was a close thing, but he got exactly the 4 pieces that he needed with all of the ramp, right? The only other cards that he got was get a creature and get the Vastwood Surge. He used the Meet the Tavern to go get the one creature that could beat me. He used the Vastwood Surge, the only other card in the deck that he played that's not on the battlefield, to go get the 2 swamps he needed to cast the creature, and then all the other pieces fell into place. Boom, boom, boom. That is conspiracy, my friends. I bet you he didn't even have these cards. He didn't even have Vorinclex. He's like drawing the Vorinclex. He's like, this isn't part of my deck. What the heck's going on here? I think the Magic Engine just gave it to him. Conspiracy, I tell you. Opponent goes first. When do I get to go first? Well, we have a good 2-drop here, so we'll wait to scry a minute and see if we get another land first. Hey, look at that, another land. Are we facing a cycling deck? I don't normally see a lot of Ketria crystals outside of cycling decks these days. Most people stick with the Triome lands. Good touch. We'll take him. Look, a Triome. We've got enough red. Let's even it up with the green. The first burn won't work on Arasta. Could fight with that, but I think it would be better to fight, make the Death Toucher indestructible and then fight, because she's going to fight her as soon as I cast this one. Congratulations. Okay. So Do I want to wait for it to put out this one instead? I can only do this a couple times. That's a sorcery. We're already kind of in trouble here. They've already managed to outramp us. And they've done some very powerful creatures. All right. Pay adamant cost. Got it. Needed to do that because I also have this now. It could create a token other 8/8 creature. I really need a Brash Taunter right about now. 4 of them in the deck, and nothing. Ooh, trample. Okay. 4. That'll make my 6/6. That's not enough to survive. So I guess I could do. No, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could make him powerful enough to fight Arasta and survive. Counter spell. Lovely. And that's the problem when you're going up with this particular deck, because I have so few creatures. I've got a bunch of cards that are situational, and if they're going to do just ramping creatures with mostly green, you see they had 1 opt and 1 counterspell for blue, and the rest was ramping creatures. Yeah, I think it's going to beat me almost every time. Okay, the game is taking care to make sure that it beat me, or that I lost, twice in a row. So now, it should be okay with me actually winning one on my own. How'd you like to go on a vacation to this city? Jump blocker. Are you gonna gain enough life this turn? This game? That would be pretty sad, wouldn't it, if I didn't get any more creatures and I spent the whole time hitting it for 1 point of damage and it just kept getting more and more life points every turn no matter what I did. At last, it does something. Say goodbye. Alright, let's go for a red. Bring down the Brash Taunter. I hit you so many times, and you seem as healthy as ever. Healthier even. Is that a rosy glow on your cheeks? Okay, let's go ahead and ramp it up. I think we can afford to wait a turn before we use any of our other nice little tricks. Ooh, I like that one. Oh, I like you too. Excellent. Okay, so take you. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Next. Okay, if you're just joining us, the game froze for nearly a minute, then it stopped the recording, and it took a couple of moves before the recording would start up again. So he's not out of it yet, but he did paralyze my Brash Taunter. And now I'm just flooding out with land. Get another life gain card. Get another life gain card. Get another life gain card. You know what? We're just going to fight you. We can still fight you. There goes most of your life gain right there. Still not attacking because he's afraid of that. Let's just gain control of that creature. Attack with you. Take the damage. Fight you again. Yeah, we want to target him. Don't care, he's on my side right now. It won't hurt. Let's see. What happened there? When this creature is still damaged, destroy target attachment. Oh, okay, that's fine. Magic missile. Okay. Freezing games, technical mishaps that stop the recordings. None of it can stop me. Magic the Gathering. Brash Taunter to the rescue. Alright, we ran out of time, so I did have to sort of finish off everything. I did make one change to the deck. I took out the copy of Blazing Volley, and I went ahead and put in Cinderclasm just because I ran up against so many creatures that were 2/2 instead of 1/1 like the old days of the Scoot Swarm. So this is the deck we ended up with. Only that one change. I probably changed it up a little bit more to be even more competitive, but It's fun. It's kind of hard. We ran out of time. We couldn't get the classification out with Brash Taunter at the same time. People would either quit or they'd steamroll over me before I could get enough mana and the cards in place. So, but I have done it before. Trust me, it's fun when it works. It's just a little rare. So we're going to leave it there. We'll come back with another new deck another time. So make sure you like and subscribe and come on back because there's always going to be another deck right around the corner. Have a good one.